I want to go to the 1-4-5, the most basic chord change on the planet.
Guthrie Trapp did a video not so long ago called CAGED System Explained. And I've taken a part out of the video which I'm just going to sort of elaborate on, and he's talking about, you know, doing a 1-4-5 progression in the key of C. I'm going to play you the clip now and then we'll sort of break it down in one spot how you can practice this stuff.
I want to go to the 1-4-5, the most basic chord change on the planet. I'll go from my C shape here, or sorry, my C chord, C triad here, to my F, to my G, to my C. I'll go to this one. Here's my C, here's my F, here's my G, here's my C. Here's my C, here's my F, here's my G, here's my C.
Right, so he's working with the triads on the top three strings, on the G, B and high E strings. And if you've been watching my CAGED playlist, I've got a series of videos, I've put them in a playlist. This is what I've been going into, mapping out these triads up and down, you know, different string sets. And I started off working in the key of C, so I've also been doing C, F and G triads and, you know, the CAGED system in the key of C. So Guthrie's outlining here where you've got these triads. So you've got C from your A shape, F from your C shape, G from your E shape. Then he moves up to here where we're going to concentrate on. So he's playing this first triad, C major, then F, then goes to G, back to C. So it's the top three strings. So the first triad, this is coming out of your E form. For the F chord, it's coming out of the A form. So it's this shape. And for the 5 chord, for the G, it's coming out of the C form. And they're all on the top three strings. So the full chords, C major, F major, G, back to C. So what I'm going to show you now is how to work with these triads on all these different string sets. And a good place to start is off the roots. So we're going to go in a 1-4-5. So C, we can go 1-3-5, F, G, back to C. And then when I went back to the C, I went to the D, G and B string triad. Like I said, if you've been through my CAGED series, you'll recognise all these triads. If not, like I said, there's a link in the description and you can go and check them out. So C major, F, G, back to C. So when we get to this C here, we can work on the triads from the D, G and B strings. C, F, G, back to C. And then C, F, G, C. Again. So it's good to practice them in the 1-4-5, going across them string sets like that. Now a good way to practice this is we can start adding in the flat 7 and making some melody between these triads. So I'm going to use the triads off the top 3 strings. So it's these shapes: C, F, G, back to C. So we're going to go down the C triad. We're going to pick them individually, but then we're going to add in the flat 7, which from this chord shape, we're going to go to a dominant 7. It will be here on the 11th fret of the B string. So we're going to go down the triad. I'm going to play that with our pinky. So it's major triad. And then behind the flat 7 of the C, of the 1 chord, behind the flat 7, if we go back 1 note, it takes you to the major 3rd of the 4 chord. So that takes you straight into this F shape. So we've got C, C7, F, up the G triad, and then if we play the 10th fret on the G string, that's the flat 7 of G. And then behind the flat 7 of G, it takes you straight back to the major 3rd of the 1 chord. So you can start playing around with melody in these triads. So what I did there, when I went to the 5 chord, I did a pull off from the 10th fret to the 8th and slid into the major 3rd of this triad. And you could do that anywhere. So to practice this, you've got to do it all over the neck. If I do it here, so like Guthrie says in this video, I'll put a link to the video as well below about the CAGED system. You don't just learn the CAGED system and that's it. You know, you can spend as much time as you want and you'll always use it. So just with this exercise, you know, you can practice this like forever, just going around all the shapes. Everywhere on the neck, you've got a 1-4-5, you know, in any key, and you can practice this. So again, slowly, it's the C major triad, starting on 3rd. When we get the root, then we're going to come over and get the flat 7. So we're going to go to the 11th fret of the B. And that's going to walk us into the 3rd, which is the 10th fret of the B string, the 3rd of the 4 chord. And then we grab the G string, which is the root. And then we play the 5, which is a high E. So we've outlined that F. When I've done that hammer-on pull-off and slid back 1 to the 7th fret of the high E, that's put me in the major 3rd of the 5 chord. So the major 3rd of the 5 is a half step behind the root with our C note. And then we just walk up that D-shaped triad and then reach over and grab the flat 7 of the G, which is the 10th fret of the G string, and then that takes us right back to our C. So that's a really good way to start putting some melody together with these triads. I'm gonna do one of these sort of every week. I'll break down, you know, a bit of one of Guthrie's videos, you know, in the CAGED system. So have some fun with that. Any questions you've got on this stuff, please just put it in the questions below and I'll answer everything. All right, cheers.